I think a better way to look at it is if the levers of national power, diplomatic, information, military, and economic. If you think about the information campaign, it kind of goes into a couple different pieces. I think Secretary Hegseth and General Kane are really trying to push the communication is staying, inside the military. Hey, this is what we're doing. Battle damage assessment for intelligence collection purposes, for all the things that are going on. That includes both civilian infrastructure. It includes United States economic impacts and others. And so I think the military side understands their role of being able to help provide a military pressure onto an economic lever, but they're also using information and diplomatic means to be able to carry that message too.
Wayne, do we know at this point the damage that the U.S. military inflicted upon Iran and its infrastructure? Because, again, while we're in the ceasefire now, prior to that, the intensity was pretty substantial.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you're trying to look at it from a nuclear production capability around Natanz and Fordo, as well as Isfahan. Isfahan hasn't been attacked as much as Natanz and Fordo had, obviously, from Operation Midnight Hammer. You look at launch facilities, you look at drone production facilities, munition stockpiles, as well as munition production facilities, right? So you're looking at tier 2, tier 3 suppliers across Iran that help in a lot of their defense industrial base. So the one problem that we have is some of that battle damage assessment is kept at the classified level and inside of military channels. But just looking at it from an open source perspective is it's significant amount of damage that we're looking at between 10 and 20 years to even start to rebuild some of the capacity that's been taken out by the military.
And Wayne, do we know how much of their military might, their munitions are self-made within Iran versus maybe imported from other places?
Well, like the Shahed 136, that's one of the main drones that are used. The Fatah 110 are mostly used inside of Iran, and Iran actually has an export business. Great relationships, obviously, in the past with Russia. And a lot of that, there obviously are defense production agreements on other pieces of production that tie back into Russia as well. In other areas, a little less so with China. But these are specific areas where that production and that export that really stopped. You saw it back in the 12-day war with Israel as well. And that was during a time that the Ukraine and Russia advancements were going on, and Russia really needed those drones that were coming out of Iran, and those production numbers stopped.
Wayne Sanders with the Senior Defense Analyst, Bloomberg Intelligence, and we continue. Professor Sanders, when you were teaching at West Point, if someone said to you there was a one-page deal to end a military exercise, I don't think Appomattox was like that, or the Revolutionary War. Cornwall was it
term sheet? I don't know.
In Virginia. How do you respond to a one-page proposal that's a deal?
So I think the key there is that the one-page memo is really encompassing a 30-day negotiation window for a larger agreement, right? So if you're thinking about it in terms of creating an operations order on the back of a napkin on the hood of a Humvee for operational purposes, right? And we've all been there. We've all done that in the military side of the house. Now you're doing it on the diplomatic to at least get the concept of operations, right? You're trying to get your left and right guardrails in place to say, hey, here are the areas that we think that we're mainly going to be okay on. But then you still have the biggest unresolved issues around how long Iran would halt their uranium enrichment. Would it be 5 versus 15 or 20 years? Whether Iran gives up existing nuclear or near weapons grade uranium. Whether or not they retain influence over Hormuz and the security operations, right? Really coming down to that toll, and whether the U.S. is willing to allow for pretty much condoning coercion at that point.